So now that we've employed that Elizabeth Gross reading to develop a decent primer on the history of the body and the meanings of the body and the uses of the body, and how discourse plays a role and power plays a role in constructing the mind-body relationship and different ways of reconceptualizing that, we can now put our bodies into motion and talk about them in relation to physical activity. So this next part isn't from any of the readings per se, but it's a useful psychological concept for our discussion of physical activity. It was a concept coined by Hungarian psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. That's a tough one. My supervisor knows him, and he just calls him Mike. So let's just call him Mike. So Mike posited that people pursue various physical activities for the intrinsically rewarding and satisfying sensation of entering into what he calls a state of flow, where the mind-body connection is working in perfect harmony. So this explains this concept, this phenomenon explains why we enjoy doing things intrinsically, even without a reward being promised to us or any sort of external motivation. These things we don't need to get motivated for externally because they're inherently enjoyable. And what Mike sees as the inherently enjoyable part is that state of flow that you get into. It's not just like eye-hand coordination, it's mind-body coordination where your mind and your body are in perfect sync, where you want to do something with your mind and your body follow suit. They're working in unison. So this can happen in any activity where someone gets in the zone, so to speak, mentally and physically, to seamlessly strike a balance between the challenges presented and the skills required to meet them. So if it's too easy, if the challenges presented aren't up to your skill set, then it's going to create boredom and you're not going to get in the zone. And if it's too hard, if the challenges presented surpass the skills that you have to meet them, then that's not going to be fun either. You're just going to feel all clunky and it's not going to be inherently enjoyable. So flow is that perfect sweet spot. It's a state of unified flowing from one moment to the next in which the actor is in control of their actions and in which there's little distinction between stimulus and response. Like it's just so seamless and spontaneous. It's a merging of self and task. So it's a merging of you with the task you're performing. So for example, playing guitar, as long as you're really good at it, again, if the challenge is too much for your skill, you're not going to get into that sense of flow. But when you get really good at playing a certain song or a certain chord, you can do it seamlessly. It's like the guitar is an extension of your body. Whatever note you want your mind to play, your body is able to do it right away. So think about trying to play a video game for the first time and you're just learning the controls. So it's that very you feel kind of clumsy and the controls are kind of clunky and you're overly aware of what buttons you have to press on the controller. Like you're saying, okay, right now I'm pressing A and that's to punch, and now I'm pressing B and that's to jump, and you're trying to make that correlation between the buttons you're pressing and what your character in the video game is doing on screen. And then it gets to the point where you get so good at the controls that you start feeling that sense of flow, where you want your character to jump, so you seamlessly press the right button. Your body is in perfect synchronicity with your mind. So that your mind wants to do something, it wants to see the character jump on the screen, and your body responds seamlessly. And then you forget the fact that you're holding a controller. You lose awareness of that's no longer a conscious thing. It's now this unconscious muscle memory thing where the controller becomes an extension of you. It becomes a part of you. You are now a mind and a body and a controller. They're all one. They're all on the same page. They're all working on the same wavelength, so that there's no delay between what your mind wants to accomplish and what your body actually accomplishes. You can think of any sport, like tennis, you just get in that flow. You feel the ball coming towards you, and you can orient yourself in the right position almost naturally and swing and do the whole wind up, get ready for the perfect moment when it comes just at that right moment, and boom, and it feels so good. And you hit it and you see where it's going, and you kind of predict where your opponent is going to hit the ball. So you get in that position, and it's like you and the racket and the ball are all one entity. You're all flowing together. So that's what I meant by it's the merging of self and task. You and the task are one. And it can happen in literally any activity where someone gets in the zone mentally and physically to seamlessly strike that balance. So activities could include sports, playing a sport, an individual sport, like I just mentioned with tennis, or a team sport, or engaging in physical hobbies, so rock climbing and skipping. Like if you're not good at skipping and you keep messing up and having to start over again, then you're not going to get in the flow. But once you get really good at it, it's like this mindless thing. You don't have to keep telling yourself consciously, oh, now it's time to jump. Oh, the rope's coming around again. I got to jump again before it hits me. And it's just, it happens all at once. That's enjoyable in itself. Like obviously there's the external motivations of, yeah, you do this to get fit and healthy, but oftentimes it's just intrinsically enjoyable. Same with rock climbing. Like you're not doing it to go from point A to point B. Like it's more just a hobby that you enjoy the journey more than the destination. You enjoy the process more than the final product. Or achieving a runner's high. I mean, the high is in the running itself. It's not in any prizes you get. You don't get the high from getting first place in a race. You get the high from just running and enjoying the process itself. But it's not just purely physical activities. It's also like mentally intensive activities that do involve a bit of physicality. So like playing chess, especially when you get really good at it and it's like timed, it's just like these snap reactions where you see the opponent move a piece to a certain area and then you intrinsically know what to do in reaction to that. Your mind and your body are one in that moment. Or playing an instrument, like I said, with the background of the slide, or playing video games, like I already gave an example for, or even like performing surgery or other professional aspects. Like some doctors report feeling this sense of flow where it's not like this clunky thing where they're checking a textbook like, oh, what organ do I take out next? Or how do I put this valve in? Like it's just this seamless thing where the mind knows exactly what it wants to do and the body is performing it admirably. So yes, of course, there are the externally motivating factors of saving the person's life that you're performing surgery on, or you're making your salary as a doctor, or upholding your good reputation for performing surgeries. But primary to all that, those are all secondary considerations compared to the fact that they're just good at it and they enjoy doing it and they enjoy being good at it and getting better at it. So this can explain a lot of professions that don't necessarily seem very externally rewarding, like a garbage collector hanging off the back of a garbage truck, just picking up the trash bins and throwing them in the back of the truck. Like certainly that's not glamorous, but there's probably a sense of flow that garbage collector gets into, and they get quite good at it, and they might even enjoy going through the motions so seamlessly. I know for me personally, in the professional realm, I get into a sense of flow when writing and when teaching. And in those moments, it doesn't particularly matter what I'm writing about or teaching about. It's just the process itself, the state of flow that I'm in when I'm just in the zone and I'm busting out an entire paragraph that's just like this free flow of my mind through my fingers onto the screen, or in the lecture when I just go off on a tangent. It feels intrinsically enjoyable to like get an idea and then articulate it through my mouth to seamlessly express the thoughts that were in my head. So again, this notion of flow challenges the mind-body dualism, because when you're in a state of flow, the mind and body merge into one. There's no disconnect there. There's no delay. It's a matter of seeing a challenge presented in front of you, whether that's a ball thrown at you that you need to catch, and then being able to mentally and physically react to it seamlessly. It's not one or the other. It's not your mind is like, I better catch this ball. Oh, body, come on, do something, catch it. Or it's not just your body just muscle memory catching it and your mind like, oh, did I just catch that? It's all at once. Because if it was just your body, then your mind might feel like it's luck. And that's not as satisfying. You want to feel a sense of mastery. And that's why people pursue a lot of activities that don't seem externally, extrinsically rewarding. They are internally, intrinsically rewarding.